If you don't want your speakers bashed over your head, then turn the dial. It's Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang. Showtime! If you smell what the rock is cooking. Well, it's the big show.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Goldberg and this crowd is on their feet.
1, 2, is this on? Yo, Jimmy, hit me with that Triple H.
Did the Triple Steel Cage match at WCW Slamboree live up to its name?
Oh, hell yeah!
That's nothing. All I need to see is Stephanie thrown through a table courtesy of the Dudley Boys, and I'll be happier than a pig in his own poop.
This week I get in the ring with the innovator of Violence ECW's Tommy Dreamer. I need my own monster truck so I can run over your Jazz Kodiak. Let's start this week's edition of Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ECW.
It's WCW World Championship Wrestling, and this is the one and only
Piledriver.
This is Razz, and we're steel cage climbing and table crashing from the entertainment wrestling capital of the world in the heart of Times Square, New York City. And with me is professional wrestler and fan of gladiator movies, the Kodiak Bear.
I'm the Kodiak Bear, and I'm tough as nails. And welcome to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
This is Freak. If you like wrestling, then plant your ass down. And if you like rock, then turn it up, because we are Piledriver.
And we have lots of kick-ass music on this week's show, including A Perfect Circle, Pantera, and Limp Bizkit. And speaking of ass, let's get down and dirty with our own piece of hot ass. It's Candy. What's going on with the chicks of wrestling?
Are we going to see some real TNA at the King of the Ring pay-per-view? Word is yes. Now I know Kodiak will definitely be ordering that one.
Hey, Candy, when are we going to see your puppies? Come on, you know you want to show Big Daddy Kodiak those puppies.
The day you see my puppies, you slob, is the day I get a sex change operation or you lose 10 pounds. In other words, never.
Who cares? I bet your puppies look like basset hounds anyway. As always, let's ring the bell and let the madness begin. And let's see if these two dodos are ready. Are you guys?
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm ready.
What morons.
Crashing harder onto the countdown than Chris Kanyon being thrown off the Triple Steel Cage match, here's Pantera with Revolution Is My Name on Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
Bone Crusher, number 5.
Pantera, our number 5 Bone Crusher.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Penzer. Get ready for the mayhem of World Championship Wrestling.
The WCW Report.
From ScoopsWrestling.com, this is Al Isaacs talking WCW. Is it wrestling or an action entertainment organization? You know, my opinion of WCW has gone through many changes this past year. From an environment that resembles a theme park stunt show to a federation that professes quote-unquote real wrestling. Just as they've gone from proclaiming that they're real wholesome family entertainment a few months ago to the testosterone-fueled TNA fest it has become at times. It is an identity crisis in Atlanta. But right now, WCW is at its most enjoyable point in a long, long time. Work rate is up, production value is up, viewership? Well, that will take some time. It will also take some time getting prestige behind a title previously owned by David Arquette. Putting Ric Flair in the title hunt does a lot for it. But again, I raise the question, does WCW want to be a wrestling federation? To further confuse matters, just look at the next WCW video game on tap from EA Sports. There's no wrestling ring. Let me repeat that. A World Championship Wrestling game with no wrestling ring. I hope someone can explain that one to me sometime soon. From ScoopsWrestling.com, this is Al Isaacs.
Kodiak, let's do some kung fu fighting in the ring.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. I'd take some mushu pork, which is cool. I'll also take some beef and broccoli. Give me an egg roll. And Candy said she'll have an order of cream of some young guy.
It's hopeless. Let's get into Piledriver's steel cage match and let two songs table match each other.
Let's crack some skulls. It's steel cage time.
Coming in at 752 pounds, hailing from Ventura County, California, here's 8'7" with Satisfied.
Something your appetite is never, by the way.
This week's contender.
8'7", our contender. Looks like our new champ is going to be hard to beat. Kicking the crap out of everything in their sight, coming in at 800 pounds, hailing from Chicago. Here's Disturbed with Stupefy.
Now, the reigning world champion.
Now it's time to be the game Triple H and decide who wins the match.
Email us what song heads back into the ring next week and what song gets blown up like the DX tour bus. Our email address is piledriver@mji.com. That's the Contender 8-Stop-7 or Disturbed, our reigning champion. If you don't want me to get medieval on your ass, you better email us now
at piledriver@mji.com. Let's go to the candy store to see what sweet things she has in store with the bimbos of wrestling.
Kodiak, the girls of wrestling.
It's time for Candy's Corner.
Don't f- with me, fellas!
Hey, it's Candy, and you're in my corner. So let's talk ass. What is the big deal with seeing a chick naked? I mean, come on, you hard-up pathetic losers. Every week there's a new internet rumor going around about which WWF diva will take her clothes off at Raw. Then every week you losers sit there and drool waiting for it to happen. Guess what? They're gonna block it out anyway. The ECW had Electra taking her top off, but you couldn't see anything, so who cares? What about at a pay-per-view, you ask? Now that's a different story. Kat dropped her top at the recent Insurrection pay-per-view in England, and yes, you can see the picture. It's all over the internet. Hey, Kat, I got 2 words for you. Boot job. It now seems that all ticket buyers at WWF's King of the Ring pay-per-view in June at Boston's Garden are being told the show may contain nudity. Keyword being may. Is this a publicity stunt to get more people to buy the pay-per-view? My money is on yes. Will it work? Well, there are a lot of you chicken chokers out there, so I do believe it might work. Will we actually see anything? Maybe for a few seconds. But it's going to be a little difficult to choke your chicken when you only get 5 seconds of nudity. Although for you pigs, I'm sure that's all you need. I'll be back next hour with the lowdown on the big 3 feds chick websites and some news on a hot WCW photo spread.
After intermission, I get in the ring with the innovator of violence, ECW's Tommy Dreamer.
The innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer. I'm this week's feature interview on Piledriver.
The Rock and Wrestling Radio Show. We're back with more Piledriver.
I'm Razz, and this is Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show, making their debut on the countdown. You jabronis wanted it. Here's another former fresh meat. It's Nickelback with Leader of Men.
Bone Crusher at number 4.
Nickelback, our number 4 Bone Crusher.
Piledriver of the Week.
The guy I'm digging this week is the jet-flying, limo-riding, woman-stealing son of a gun, Mr. Space Mountain himself, the one, the only, Ric Flair. This man is the consummate professional. After all the crap the WCW has put him through, he still gives 100%. This man can make a broomstick look good. And to show how much of a professional he is, at the last WCW pay-per-view, he worked with a guy who's been scumbagging him for the last 9 years. And he put him over. No one can rival Ric Flair's interview skills. He is the master of the mic. You can keep your Rock, you can keep your Stone Cold, or your Triple H. Give me the Nature Boy any day. Freak.
Did you say scumbagging? Freak.
My Piledriver this week is a tie. Diamond Dallas Page and Jeff Jarrett. Their triple steel cage match at Slamboree was spectacular. Lots of blood, violence, and ass kicking. That's what wrestling and the WCW should be about. Razz.
My Piledriver this week is Hulk Hogan, or Terry Bollea, which he will become, was a true hero at Slamboree. When did you ever see him so beat up and so cut, yet reach under the ring for tables? He stepped up his performances and has become a favorite again, and I like it. I wish he would just squash that puny, untalented little pipsqueak weasel Kidman once and for all. He's a putz! He needs more time in the gym, and he looks like a woman!
Hi, this is Wayne from Static X, and you're listening to Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
Piledriver.
I won't go schizo, will I? There's a distinct possibility.
This week I caught up with ECW's Tommy Dreamer, the innovator of violence. It's Razz, and Piledriver is on with Tommy Dreamer. Tommy, how are you today?
Not bad, guys. What's going on?
Well, talk to me a little bit about what's happening as far as ECW is concerned, and as far as what your role is nowadays.
What's going on in ECW is the same old thing. We're plugging away. We're putting out the best product we possibly can. We got the best wrestling, best girls, best music, best everything. Myself. I'm still banged up with my back, hanging in there. That's it. I'm feeling pretty good, and just taking it day by day.
Now, how did you hurt your back? Just regular matches?
Yeah, just the being in ECW for like 6 years. Finally took its toll, and I have 2 herniated discs in my back.
a surgery possible for you?
No, I blew that off. I was supposed to have surgery. I'd definitely be out 10 months, and they gave me no guarantee that once I got back in the ring, it wouldn't happen again. So I just said, forget it and go.
You might as well work the 10 months.
Yeah.
And then see what happens.
I could either break it totally or, put it back in place. But no, I go to rehab, and I go to, I've gone to chiropractors, acupuncture, and I'm not feeling that bad lately. I've got feeling in my feet, which I didn't have for like 2 months, so it's always good to feel your feet at 29 years old.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Rob Van Dam on the show, and one of the things that he talked about is that he could not think of wrestling anywhere else. He tried the WCW, he tried the WWF. He said, nothing was happening for him. He didn't feel it. There was no excitement. He just felt bored.
Right.
Do you feel the same way?
No. What I say, I've never wrestled in WWF. I'd love to wrestle, for WWF, WCW. I'd love to wrestle ECW. But I'm real happy where I'm at. And it's not a knock against the other companies. I would like to go down in my career of wrestling just in one place. There's not a whole lot of when I live in New York, and Don Mattingly played his entire career, as a Yankee, and I think that's pretty cool. I have, in this company, a lot of challenges every week, just like, if I was at the other companies. So.
Right. I don't think his point was one that, he was trashing the WWF or the WCW. He just said the action in the ECW is there's more wrestling, there's more contact, there's just more time in the ring, and you're working hard. You want 30 minutes in the ring. You don't want 8.
Right. I mean, I legitimately, I don't consider myself a sports entertainer. I consider myself an athlete, and it's not a knock towards anyone, but ECW, we have the most extreme athletes, and from bell to bell when you're in the ring, you go, and I don't know how it is in the other leagues because I don't wrestle there. I watch them. I like some of the things they do. I hate some of the things they do.
Right.
In ECW, I pretty much like almost everything we do. So, I'm happy where I'm at.
Later in the show, Tommy Dreamer talks about his role in the controversial movie Beyond the Mat. And the reason why it's so controversial is because I ended up on the editing room floor. Thanks, Barry. I really appreciate it. You slap-ass Hollywood jagoff.
Kodiak, you were never in the movie.
I wasn't?
When we come back, we'll find out what tune WWF star Taz gets pumped to.
The Scarecrow and Tin Man weren't in it either? No. Oh, all right.
This is The Rock, the people's champ of the WWF, and The Rock says you're listening to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Piledriver. You're listening to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
This is Razz, and I want to throw everyone who listens to Piledriver on the Eagle in Dallas into a triple steel cage match and kick the crap out of them.
Kodiak's Wrestling Dictionary.
All right, morons, it's your turn to learn some wrestling terminology. First of all, the promoter. He's the guy who publicizes the event, such as a Vince McMahon or an Eric Bischoff. The booker. He's the guy who gets the wrestlers, like a Paul Orndorff or a Pat Patterson. And the talent. Who are the wrestlers themselves, such as Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Triple H, The Rock, the Kodiak Bear. That's this week's Kodiak's Wrestling Dictionary.
What song gets WWF's Taz pumped before a match?
Hey, this is Taz of the World Wrestling Federation, and my hardcore tune-up of the week is Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit, our hardcore tune-up. Our prize closet here at Piledriver needs some serious spring cleaning, so Freak, what have you got for us?
Well, I've got Ready to Rumble soundtracks, and I have some WCW Slamboree t-shirts, and guess what? They're all free. All you have to do is email us, give us your address, and say, hey, Freak, give me my cool crap. Email us at piledriver@mji.com. Tell us what you want, a Ready to Rumble soundtrack or a Slamboree t-shirt.
Big whoop, a t-shirt. Wow. I see you're really spending a lot of money on this budget.
It's that or your food bill.
What's my name? Say my name, bitch!
Piledriver.
Let's find out what's the real deal with your favorite wrestlers. This week we take a look at The Undertaker.
Let's get unmasked.
Real name, Mark Calloway.
Height, 6 feet, 9 inches.
Weight, 328 pounds.
Aliases, Texas Red, Mean Mark Callis, Master of Pain, Punisher Dice Morgan.
Titles: WWF World Heavyweight 3 times, WWF Tag Team Champion also 3 times.
Mark played college basketball before jumping in the ring in the late 80s. He was unsuccessful at first to make any headway in the major federations. He wrestled in the indie circuit as the Master of Pain and the Punisher. Then, in 1989, the NWA came a-knockin'.
The NWA was looking for someone to replace Sid Vicious. Mark was it. He wrestled under the name Mean Mark Callis. He became part of the new Skyscrapers, feuding with the Steiner Brothers and the Legion of Doom, among others. As his popularity was growing, the WWF came sniffing around.
And in 91, Mark joined the WWF and The Undertaker was born. He was a surprise member of the $1 Million Club. Mark took on the WWF World Heavyweight Champ Hulk Hogan and beat him, but only to lose the belt 6 days later to Hulk Hogan.
After his short reign as champ, The Undertaker would go on to feud with everyone in the WWF, both heels and baby faces. It was at this time he became a fan favorite as the crowd accepted his dark and evil persona. He picked up manager Paul Bearer and more gold followed.
The Undertaker picked up a brother by the name of Kane and fought with him and against him. Word is he's about to pick up a sister. Now, if that's not the new Addams Family, I don't know what is.
Undertaker's been out of action for months with some serious injuries, but his return is around the corner. And I can't wait.
Hey, llama anus sniffing asses. It's our Body Slam Song of the Week. If you want your song to be on Piledriver, call us toll free 1-877-792-SLAM. Dial slowly, because I know you guys are so backwards, you're still using rotary phones.
And if we pick your trailer trash ass, you're getting a cool Piledriver t-shirt. So call us at 1-877-792-SLAM. It's a free call.
Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, my name is Eric, and I think the Body Slam Song of the Week is Rage Against the Machine's Guerrilla Radio, because it's a kick-ass song, and that motherfucker always hypes my ass up.
What mental institution did that guy escape from?
Your basement.
Piledriver.
Rage, our Body Slam Song of the Week.
Oh my God, a 4-post massacre. No one can survive this. This isn't even a pay-per-view.
Freak, what have you got for us?
Well, occasionally we get letters or emails that are actually legible. Dear Piledriver, on April 1st, 2000, ECW had a house show at Norfolk. We were all watching the entertainers walk in. A few minutes later, Sandman came out and announced he needed a ride to the bar. I raised my hand and he chose me, so I had the Sandman in my car. But the story gets better.
Dirty slut.
Uh-oh.
I ended up getting third-row ringside seats right below the balcony.
That's not all she got.
The main event was Tommy Dreamer versus Yoshiro Tajiri, which spilled out into the crowd. Tommy threw Tajiri over the railing and right into my lap. I sprained my arm from it. That was great, but it gets better still.
She's carrying Tajiri's child.
Next thing you know, Sandman comes out and saves the day. Then the ringside attendant brought out 7 beers. He gave 1 to Dreamer and took 1 for himself, and then invited 5 people into the ring to drink with him. I was chosen. I will always remember 3 girls in the ring. 1, the girl who refused to take off her top, so Sandman poured beer down her shirt and breasts and licked it up. 2, the fat girl took off her top and bra and had to be a 55 Triple E. Hey, Kodiak, isn't that your size? And lastly, the girl who took off her top and bra and was a Triple A. I did not even try to take off my top. ECW is the best organization in the world because they cater to the fans and not some corporate sponsor. Thanks for listening to me. Sincerely, Tiffany.
And she catered to the ECW, I betcha.
Tiffany, my only questions are, why didn't you take off your top, and how big are your jugs?
Send us a picture.
If you have a wrestling story you'd like to share with us, email us at piledriver@mji.com.
Let's check back with Razz and ECW's Tommy Dreamer.
You were one of the storylines in Beyond the Mat.
Yes.
Have you seen the documentary?
Yes. I actually got a pirated copy. Don't tell Barry. And I thought it was a hell of a movie. Originally, the main characters were supposed to be Cactus, Funk, Jake, myself, New Jack, and Spike. But a lot of us got like a cut on the cutting room floor just for time constraints, but they said with the DVD comes out, you'll see the other aspects of the story. But I thought it was really good for the wrestling industry. I thought it was a hell of a documentary. And it was...
Now, why would you think that Vince McMahon had such a problem with the movie? Do you think he was promoting it like sort of reverse promotion there?
I think he helped out the movie tremendously when he didn't want to promote the movie. You know, see the movie that WWF doesn't want you to see. And I think it was also from like talking with several people that he wanted to fund the project, and or have like some input on it, and I guess he wasn't making any cash on it, so he was a little hot.
So strictly, you think for him it was a money deal rather than give the movie a publicity push, which was kind of unintentional.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I think it was 100% money. I don't think there was anything bad that portrayed the World Wrestling Federation.
Right. And you think it also helped wrestling to go
It
beyond
makes
the
people
scene.
understand it, you know, I think it was a hell of a movie, even if you're not a wrestling fan.
Yes.
You know, it shows you a lot of the insides of the business, and, you know, everyone goes out thinking, you know, we're either A, not real people, or B, you know, it's all fake, and trust me, it's not.
Well, you know, the one scene where, you know, you see Mick Foley on that one show getting bashed with a chair, and then they cut backstage, and here he is getting his head stitched together.
Yeah.
You can't tell me wrestling's fake.
No, not at all.
I mean, you see it right there.
I wake up every morning knowing it's not fake.
Next, we talk to Tommy about his network television debut and how he taught the stuntmen a thing or two.
We still have another hour of head-busting action, so if you slap asses move, I'll beat you harder than a red-headed stepchild.
This is Billy Kidman of WCW, and you're listening to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
Piledriver. You're listening to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
Hey, this is Razz, and are you ready to get checked into the SmackDown Hotel for another hour? Because we've got more Bone Crusher Countdown, and I'm still in the ring with ECW's Tommy Dreamer. Here's Bare Ass.
We also have the WWF and ECW reports. Let's go back to our Bone Crusher Countdown.
Bone Crusher number 3.
A perfect circle.
Piledriver.
Razz is back in the ring with ECW's innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer.
There's some other things happening for you that are kind of exciting. Tell me about what's happening with Early Edition with New Jack.
We filmed some parts for the television show on CBS. It's called Early Edition. I believe it's Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. And we had a real good time. They were real cool, and we had a lot of lines, and we had a lot of fun, and the cast was real cool, and it was really, really interesting for me because that's probably one of the few things I've ever wanted to accomplish. As you know, do roles like that, because I'm really wanting to get into like the acting scene.
You actually went in and you actually taught the stunt guys some things or two, right?
Yeah.
Is that your story?
Yeah, kind of. When we went there, they were just me and New Jack went at it in a bar fight scene, and in movies they kind of like pull their punches about 20 feet from each other. Me and New Jack went, and he whacked me in the stomach, and then when they finally said cut. Like, I was like, damn, why don't you hit me a little harder? And, like, the whole place, like, at first was, like, just, like, totally silent. Like, are these two guys really going to go at it? And then they just started, like, me and New Jack just started laughing about it. And then they, the whole, like, set and cast just started to joke and just then started to applaud. But it was just, like, that kind of, like, dead silence where they didn't know what the hell we were going to do. And then it was like, oh, my God, they're great.
So now they were actually filming the whole thing, even all the stuff where you guys were kidding around?
Yeah, they filmed everything. Oh, no, they didn't film the part when we kid around, but I'm just saying, like, the actual fight scene that we had, I mean, me and New Jack were going, like, you know, our music hit, and when it was over, it was just, like, that dead silence, like, so I was like, damn, why don't you hit me any harder? And it was just, like, that, you know, uncomfortable pause for the set, because they didn't know how to, like, deal with us.
Yeah, they thought you were really beating
and
the
they
crap
thought we were going to go at it, and they were just, like, as soon as, like, they saw, like, me and him were cool with it, they were just like, oh, my God, that was great. We were so nervous. We didn't know what to do, so.
Now what happened with some of the stunt guys? Now, they were going to protect you guys or bring in other people to do your stunts? But
yeah, we had they had like people standing in for us, and we were just like, we don't need that. We'll do it ourselves. And like also they wanted to give us like pads for our back and like knee pads for everything. We're just like, we'll just go. Don't worry about us.
Yeah. Now what are some of the stunts you and New Jack did?
We just had your typical bar scene fight. We started off arm wrestling each other, and then I beat him. He got mad. He hit me with a bottle, I hit him with a chair, and then we just started throwing punches. And then it's a whole scene. You got to check it out. It's pretty cool.
I'll wrap up the interview with Tommy Dreamer later in the show, and we'll talk XFL.
Godfather's in the house. Grab your bitches. Pimpin' ain't easy, man. Pimpin' ain't easy, man. Pimpin' ain't easy, man. Pimpin' ain't easy, man.
The WWF Report.
From ScoopsWrestling.com, this is Al Isaacs with a look at the WWF. How long until Chris Jericho is headlining World Wrestling Federation events? Well, from the look of things, I'd say it won't be too long. Consider recent weeks. The fans' chants of Y2J have been deafening in arenas. In the past few Raws, Vince McMahon teased a Lionheart World title change as Triple H lost to Jericho, and fans ate it up to a tremendous ovation. Several weeks later, The Rock was absent to go shoot The Mummy 2, and Jericho was called on to basically carry the broadcast. Raw was Jericho. With 3 Intercontinental title defenses in 2 hours, once again, fan reaction was tremendous. Prior to entering the WWF, many hailed Chris Jericho as the second coming of Shawn Michaels. But since his Titan debut, Y2J has proven that he is his own man and has been carving out a superstar career all his own. From ScoopsWrestling.com, this is Al Isaacs.
Let's throw it back with Nirvana.
Old school powerbomb.
Nirvana, our old school powerbomb. Now it's time for you intellectuals to speak. It's the Bite Back question of the week.
The question was, do you think $29.95 is too much for a pay-per-view?
Now, let's bite back.
This is Nick from Rochester, Illinois, listening to Piledriver on 92.7 QLZ. And yes, $29.95 is too much to pay for a pay-per-view. And if you call me a slap ass again, I'll stuff a mud hole in you and watch it dry.
Hey, what's up? This is Amanda, and I listen to Piledriver on KRAB. And $29.95 is too much to pay for a pay-per-view.
Here's the down low, slap asses. This is James out of Phoenix, Arizona. I listen to Piledriver on the Edge 106.3. And what I think of $29.95 is you can go suck on a llama's anus and lick a monkey's nipple.
My name is Kitty, and I live in Bartlett, Tennessee. And I think you're a idiot. You're going to pay $29.95 to see a pay-per-view.
Hey, yeah, this is Ray. I listen to Piledriver on the KEGL in Dallas, Texas. As far as the pay-per-view being too damn much, $29.95 with some of the crap that WCW's put on and some of the shit that I saw from WWF, I think they should come and give me a refund and give me back the 3 hours of my life that I lost watching it.
Hey, this is Machete Steve. And this is his crazy tag team partner, Blaze, the Underdog Warrior. We're from Toledo, Ohio, listening to the Piledriver Rock and Wrestling Radio Show every Saturday night on Buzz 106.5. And the reason why we think that $29.95 is too much for a pay-per-view, because us Warriors, we need beer money.
Hey, you idiots! I don't think you're old enough for an R-rated movie, let alone a beer. Razz, I've learned 2 things. 1, our listeners think $29.95 is too much for a pay-per-view. And 2, our chick listeners can swear worse than guys. Come on, ladies, that's no way to talk. Unless, of course, you're charging $2.95 per minute. If you want to answer our Bite Back question of the week, just give us a call at 1-877-792-SLAM. It's a free call.
The question is on our phone line. Just call us at 1-877-792-SLAM. Answer the question, and if we use your bite, you'll get a Piledriver t-shirt to wear around the monster truck pull. If you want to buy your very own Piledriver t-shirt, just send us $15 plus $3 for shipping and handling. That would be how much, Kodiak? $18.
Okay.
Piledriver t-shirt, MJI Broadcasting, 135 West 50th Street, 8th floor, New York, New York, 10020. And specify your size, large, extra large, or battleship. After our intermission, Candy's back in the corner.
I'm Matt Hardy of the WWF. You're listening to Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
Piledriver. You're back with more Piledriver.
Hey, it's Razz. Let's go to Southtown with POD on Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
Piledriver.
If history has shown us nothing else, it is that you never issue an open challenge here in Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Let's wrap up our interview with ECW's Tommy Dreamer.
When I got hurt was in August, and I haven't stopped, and I've wrestled hurt, and I'll continue to wrestle hurt for, the rest of my life.
So did the doctor say to you, maybe you shouldn't be in the ring?
Yes, they recommend that I not wrestle. And actually, the day where I was supposed to take a little bit of time off from initially when my back blew out, I was out for just about 3 weeks. And then I just kept on wrestling. It was getting worse and worse. And then the day I was going to take like a month or so off was the day Raven came back to ECW and we won the belts together. And then, that was in August.
How are your feelings right now about the XFL now going to NBC? How do you feel about that?
I think it was a shocker for everyone. I think everyone thought it was going to go. There was a lot of speculation with CBS because CBS offered them something like $100 million, I guess, for their programming of Monday Night Raw, which would have to go with XFL. I think it's cool, just for the simple fact of the whole landscape of the wrestling industry is going to change real soon. I think what WWF is trying to do is kind of like what Aaron Spelling does. He'll sell his programming to any network who'll take it.
Now, how do you feel about this? This is sort of the WWFing of, or the wrestlingization of football. Do you think that's going to hurt, or do you think that's going to help, or do you think like the NFL is boring?
No, I'm a big fan of the NFL, and I mean, you have to wait and see. I wasn't a big fan of the USFL. We'll have to see. I mean, if it's cool. I read some of the rules. The only thing I don't want to do is be that punter guy with no fair catches.
Oh, I know. Forget it.
I think that's actually absurd because I think a lot of the rules are made to protect the guys, because athletes are bigger and stronger and faster nowadays. I just think that's the only absurd rule.
But just think how great it would be if you could wrestle in pads. I mean, that's what a lot of people are comparing the XFL to. It's just going to be the WWF on a field and more guys wrestling.
The only thing I think they'll do is, I hope they're, go more towards traditional football. I hope they don't have like storylines or people really hating each other.
Well, the only thing that they said that was going to happen was they were not going to script the end of the game. Like whoever wins will really win. I
did like the fact that they have the incentive for the players. If you win, you get more money.
There you go.
And me, myself, wrestling with pads, I wore an elbow pad 2 weeks ago, and I thought I tore my bicep because I had the thing taped to my arm. So I enjoy wrestling with no pads. I just have 2 little knee pads to protect my knees, and that's about it. Pads will limit you in the ring.
And it could also hurt you, too, if you're a very flexible person.
Yes. It's the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer. And Kodiak Bear, I've defeated you many times in the past. And if you're ever feeling antsy, I'll defeat you again in the present. Because if you step in the ring with me, you know you're going to get hurt.
Ooh, I'm real scared, Tommy. Francine can beat your ass.
Yeah, but you didn't admit that he pinned you.
I didn't admit that your sister pinned me either.
It's time for Candy's Corner.
My plastic surgeon doesn't want me doing any activity where balls fly at my nose.
Well, there goes your social life.
I'm Candy, and let's get down to babes. Stuff Magazine did a photo shoot of some WCW hotties recently in New York. On hand were Kimberly Page, Tori, and Miss Hancock. Word is there is a few group shots of all of them in black lingerie, and it's smoking. The magazine hits newsstands in July. Now, the WWFdivas.com has new shots of Deborah, Kat, Jacqueline, and Terry, plus some great shots of Lita in her bra and panties. We know what Freak's doing tonight. Don't hurt yourself, honey. Now on to the NitroGirls.com. Hey, wait, never mind, nothing's changed. Hello, WCW. It would be nice to update the site daily, but since you can't do that, how about weekly? Oh, is that too much? Well, as you can tell, the WCW has not changed the site recently, March to be exact. Over at WCW.com, there's not much to offer there either. The pictures of Kimberly, Paisley, Miss Hancock, and Tori are just stills taken from various Nitros and Thunders. Hey, WCW, take a look at WWF Divas if you need to know how to run a website. ECW has new pictures of Elektra, but don't be fooled by their claim of her bearing it all. Her hands are strategically placed in all the right areas. Too bad, you sorry piles of monkey crap. Well, until next week, this is Candy, and you're in my corner.
Here's a band you jabroni should check out on this week's Fresh Meat.
Now, this week's Fresh Meat.
This is AC from Apartment 26 with this week's Fresh Meat on Piledriver. You can check out this next song. It's called Basic Breakdown. It's our first single. We're a band who's been around for about 4 years, and this is one of the first songs we ever wrote. Our name, Apartment 26, isn't where we live. It's a reference made in all of David Lynch's movies, which you can maybe look keep an eye out for. So check this out as Basic Breakdown from the album Hallucinating.
Apartment 26, our Fresh Meat.
Go back to England, you limey wanker bastards.
The ECW Report.
From ScoopsWrestling.com, this is Al Isaacs looking at the extreme world of ECW. This week, I have to commend ECW head Paul Heyman for showing you don't have to be completely stone-hearted to run a wrestling fed. The third annual Brian Pillman Memorial Show is coming up in Cincinnati, Ohio. Representatives from every major wrestling fed from across the country are heading to the show, being held by Les Thatcher, to pay tribute to the late Pillman. From Eddie Guerrero to DDP, from Chris Benoit to Ric Flair, and from Perry Saturn and Chris Jericho to Vampiro and Rey Mysterio Jr. Since the announcement of the show, Heyman has promised that he'd have several of his boys at the show to pay tribute as well. Well, he came through. Not only will he be sending an ECW title match with Raven taking on Just Incredible, but he's actually postponing a show that was scheduled on the same date not too far from the Pillman show. My hat's off to Paul Heyman for showing some class and for doing the right thing. From ScoopsWrestling.com, this is Al Isaacs.
Piledriver.
When we come back, we head into the pit. Plus, we'll finish up the Bone Crusher countdown.
Don't you dare change that station, or I'll find out where you live and take a dump on your dining room table.
Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show. You're listening to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
This is Razz, and it's Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show. You jabronis put System of a Down on the countdown.
Bone Crusher, number 2. The piercing.
Our number 2 Bone Crusher, Spiders from System of a Down.
You think you know me, and when you think you know me. You think you know me. You think you know me. You think you know me.
Let's get in the pit.
Kodiak, Freak, 30 seconds to say what you want. Kodiak, go.
First, Stephanie McMahon hits Linda. Now David Flair japs Rick. Why doesn't somebody book these folks on Family Feud? Since the WWF is making Dave Hebner a babyface, wouldn't you love the WWF to bring back Hebner's evil twin brother Earl? Is it just me, or does the fuzz in your belly button taste like cotton candy? First he was Hugh Morris. Now it's Huge G Rection. Next his name should be Huge Jack Ass. Who of these people do you think will return to
Stop! Freak! Someone gag that stupid bitch Daphne. Whoever in the WCW thought her up should be shot. I have more talent in my left nut than that idiot Norman Smiley. The triple steel cage match at the Slamboree was one of the best I've ever seen. WCW, give the new talent some mic skills before you give them the mic. Sean Stasiak, Chuck Palumbo, and Kidman need help big time. Chris Jericho's the most dynamite wrestler since The Rock. The Dudley Boys becoming baby faces, I like it. How can Kimberly Page's stomach be so flat and her cans be so big? Sheer perfection.
Shut up!
Tammy set up her appearance nicely at Slamboree, but all we saw was her grandma panties. David Flair is scum. Chris Jericho is a real man. 3 times he defended his title, and then they pistol whip him with a chair. Ralphus has a fat ass. Captain Rection, come on. Just call yourself Dick. Taz is missing and I don't like it. Mike Awesome is just that. And yeah, you're right. Vince McMahon does have no penis. There's a rift forming in the WWF and the fans love it. Stop with all this interference and let's wrestle. Daddy won't let Stephanie go through a table. Millionaires Club are now good guys? Norman screams like a bitch.
Shut up, you.
Man, I'm spent. That's this week's In the Pit.
Don't forget, if you want to answer our Bite Back question of the week, call us toll-free 1-877-792-SLAM and answer the question.
That's 1-877-792-SLAM. Here's a tune you jagoffs wanted to get slammed through a table to. Your King of the Ring, Metallica.
Bone Crusher, number 1.
I Disappear from Metallica, our number 1 Bone Crusher. We'll be back to tell you slapnuts who's on next week's show.
Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show. You're listening to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
That's it for this week's edition of Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show. We'll be back next week with more teeth, rattle, and action. I go one-on-one with ECW's heavyweight champ. He's not just the coolest, he's not just the best, he's just incredible.
For daily updates on all your favorite wrestling action in and out of the ring, check out scoopswrestling.com. If you want to contact us, it's piledriver@mji.com.
And if you want the Kodiak Bear, you can email him at kodiakbear@kodiakbear.cc or call him at 973-743-0629. That's 973-743-0629.
This is the Kodiak Bear.
And this is Razz. Keep it in the ring. The executive producer of Piledriver is Joshua Feigenbaum. Senior producer Phil Rado. Written and produced by Corey Natko. Engineered by Rafael Jimenez. Production assistance by John Weber. Michael.
I'll take care of it later.
Azar, Diane Tonelli, Dwayne Crawford, TJ Abdullah.
The Butcher.
And Vinny.
I'm from Jersey.
Miko. Piledriver is an exclusive presentation of the MJI Radio Network. Copyright 2000, all rights reserved. No portion may be used without the written permission of the producers.
Piledriver is not affiliated with the WWF, WCW, ECW, or any wrestling federation or publication. We're nobody's bitch.